Bu adam masum olduğunu iddia ediyordu ama dedektiflerin çok tehlikeli bir planı vardı. Şimdi bir katilin nasıl manipüle edilerek itirafa, zorlandığını saniye saniye izleyeceksiniz.
You're not under arrest.
Right.
You're not in custody. You're
Right.
free to leave. So just want to make sure
Right.
we're clear on that. Again, I appreciate you coming in. And
Yes, sir.
I can imagine that you were probably getting tired of telling this story over and over and over again. But I would kind of like to start when you first met Michelle,
Okay.
because I know there's a lot of history there.
Right.
This is Mark Castellano, currently being interrogated at the Houston Police Department for the missing case of Michelle Warner, his ex-girlfriend. Michelle met Mark when they both worked for the same medical firm in 2008. Michelle, who was already a single mother, had her second child with Mark a year after they met. Just a few months after Caden was born, Mark ended the relationship. When she found permanent employment at a law firm in 2012, she decided to ask Mark if he would agree to an arrangement. The arrangement involved her and Caden moving in with him, and Mark could help raise his son. They would live together, but not as a couple, just as Caden's parents. He agreed. That day, the 24th of September, Michelle never arrived at work, and her employer contacted her several times, but their calls went unanswered. That same day, Michelle's ex-husband contacted her brother, Dave Schiffon, to let him know that Michelle did not collect her daughter. David called Michelle, and when he got no answer, he called Mark. Mark informed David that on the night of Saturday, September 22nd, he had an argument with Michelle, which led to her leaving. What concerned Mark even more was the fact that Michelle didn't take her car, and most worryingly, left behind their child, Caden. Mark confessed to David that he had no knowledge of Michelle's whereabouts. As a result, Michelle was officially reported missing, prompting the police to conduct a welfare check on Tuesday, September 25th. Unfortunately, Michelle was not found at her apartment. During the inspection, the authorities noticed the absence of hard drives from the computers, but no evidence indicated that Michelle had suffered any harm. Detectives noticed that Mark left a note for Michelle on the mirror in the bathroom, which read, "Caden and I are gone. You can have the apartment all to yourself. I am taking the car. Since you can't pay it, and I now owe my dad $3,000 because of you, get it refinanced through your rich daddy and get my name off it. You are welcome to see Caden, but since you are on a drug-filled weekend, I guess you won't call since Grandma called and said you'd turned your phone off. I will get you drug tested this time." Back in the interrogation room, Mark begins by describing Michelle in a negative way.
When she gets mad, she's violent. She'll hit you. She thinks she has the right to. The way she'll sit there and tell you where she's raised, you know, man has to take up crap. She's a pretty girl and she gets everything she wants. She has a princess attitude.
Wow. Is she using any kind of drugs at that time that you're aware of? Has she introduced that into the relationship yet?
Dikkat edin, şüpheli burada kollarını bağlayarak kendini dış dünyaya kapatıyor. Dedektif ise onu alan bırakmayarak baskıyı artırıyor. Bu, sorgu odasında üstünlük kurma taktiğidir.
Adderall.
Which is treating her for what?
ADHD.
Okay.
And hydrocodone, 10/325.
Mm-hmm.
And she, you know, getting to know me, she said, "Well, you were in a car accident. You could go get some for me." It gets pretty bad for a great while. The pill demand, work. Starting to notice that I'm changing. You know, she's having me do a lot of things. Hey, we have an extra computer. Take one from the company. I need one for my brother, or hey, I need you to get me something like this.
So she's basically asking you to steal now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And of course I do it.
Okay.
I did it.
Well, you're invested in this relationship.
Right. She pretty much at this point owns me.
Mark has crafted a detailed facade portraying himself as the helpless victim in this relationship. Despite the detective's doubts about Mark's stories, it is necessary to pretend sympathy and compassion during the interview. It's the only way the detective can hope to get a confession from him.
Let's get to last Saturday, the 22nd.
Okay. As soon as I open the door, it's like a battle zone. And the first thing she says is, "He gets into the sugar and dumps it everywhere. You left it somewhere, blah, blah, blah. and it just goes on and on. I said something about you take too many pills, you can't watch Caden or something. I said, and she's like, well, what are you sorry? She's like, and she just walked up and she's like, by the way, you better clean it up right. And at that time, she walked up to me and just hit me like that.
Now, are you standing? What are
I'm
you
like
doing?
this. There's a desk right here. I'm on like this, picking up stuff.
Are you
like
in the
this.
living room?
I'm in the living room. There's those two spots on that carpet.
Yeah, with the computer desk.
By the computer desk. There's that hallway, and right there by the leg, I'm over there reaching, picking up stuff. And by that time I turn, I see her come up, and then when she comes up close to me, and I see her arm swing, I put my head like that. She hits me like that.
Up underneath you?
Yeah, like that. It wasn't hard or anything. I'm used to it at this point.
Sure.
And when she walks out, slams the door to her room. And about 10, 15 minutes later, I open the door to say, well, you know what? And she's gone. Well,
Where's Caden when all this?
he's in his room hiding.
So you think that Michelle's been screaming at him, and that's why he goes in and reacts the way he does?
Because at one time I got her.
Does she curse at him?
Yes. She sat there and got in his face one time, and she's on here like this. I'll get on my knees.
Go ahead.
And he's sitting there and shaking his little hand. And she's sitting there grabbing him, and don't you ever, you're going to turn out to be a sorry piece of crap like your daddy, you sorry mother, little. And at that point, I came over to her and pushed her like that. She didn't. She caught herself, and I said, get up. Don't do that anymore.
With a foundation of trust established, the detective has successfully put Mark at ease, eliminating any sense of threat. Now, the detective switches tactics, directly accusing Mark of harming Michelle, but framing it in a way that justifies Mark's actions as protecting his son. This approach makes it easier for Mark to confess to the murder, as he believes he was doing the right thing, rather than acting out of evil or selfish motives.
My heart goes out to you, man, because what you have put up with for 3 years of your little boy's life, I very much appreciate and understand your feelings about your son.
Right.
I have a son. He's 27 years old now. So I get it. This is about Caden.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever did happen in the apartment between you and Michelle, that's resulted in her now disappearing. We'll use that word for lack of a better term.
Right.
It's my impression that what that was about, what that argument was about, what that confrontation was about last weekend, it wasn't about you wanting to hurt Michelle. It was about your love for Kate. And it was about your burden.
Right, yeah.
About protecting Katie.
Right, because he wasn't being taken care of.
Exactly.
The detective has skillfully employed a psychological technique known as the good choice, bad choice method. This method presents Mark with only two options, forcing him to make a decision. On one hand, there is a good choice, his unwavering love for his son, Caden. On the other hand, there is the bad choice, harbouring ill intentions towards Michelle. Mark is inclined to favour and gravitate towards one narrative, typically the one that paints him in the most innocent light. This technique exploits Mark's natural inclination to protect his innocence and amplifies the chances of him aligning with the desired narrative.
Dedektif şimdi en tehlikeli silahını kullanıyor, empati. Ona bir çıkış yolu sunuyormuş gibi yaparak savunma mekanizmasını tamamen indiriyor. Şüpheli aslında kendi sonuna doğru yürüdüğünün farkında bile değil.
Whatever happened between you and Michelle in the course of her cursing at you, slapping you in the face, hitting you while you're on your knees on the ground, picking up stuff that she has directed you to do, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And now Mark is in protective mode for Caden. This is not happening anymore. Michelle is not going to harm my son anymore, either emotionally or physically or verbally or in any way, shape, or form, and I am going to have to resolve the problem now. This is the opportunity to talk about all those things, because you've told me. You've already told me. You've laid the groundwork for what happened in that apartment, and I'm on board with you. This isn't about trying to make Mark look like a bad guy. I'm telling you, I could not. I'm listening to your story, man, and I almost want to cry for you. I just can't imagine the stress and the pressure put on you because of the love you have for Caden when you watch this woman continually berate him and treat him so terribly because she's doing the same thing to you that she's doing to a 3-year-old, and you're an adult.
Mark is now in a situation where he feels cornered. He has two choices: confess or stop talking and ask for a lawyer.
We both know Michelle did not walk out of that apartment. She did not walk out of that apartment. We both know it. We both know the circumstances under which whatever did happen, happened. I'm not wanting you to explain to me that you wanted to hurt Michelle. I want you to explain to me what you felt like you had to do to protect Kate. So I want you to be honest with me and tell me what happened.
Dakikalar süren psikolojik baskı meyvesini verdi. Kusursuz sandığı planı, profesyonel bir manipülasyonla saniyeler içinde çöktü. Bir dosya daha adaletle kapandı.
She got up, and I got up, and she's getting dressed, and she's finishing up, and she's still yelling, and Caden's hiding. I grabbed her and I broke her neck. She told me I was a sorry and that she was going to control me the rest of my life. And I grabbed her by her neck and and just threw her on the bed. And,
So she's facing you?
yeah, and I heard it pop, and then her tongue popped out, and that was it.
Okay.
I mean, I sit there and held it, and the time I realized what I did, she was dead. So, dude,
Look at me, man. Look at me.
I'm sorry. Give me the death penalty. That's fine.
Look
I deserve it.
Mark. Look, I'm proud of you.
Life is over with anyway.
Your life's not over with, Mark. Mark. Kind of show me in the room where she was.
Like, here's the bed. Here's a closet. And here's that door going to outside.
Okay.
I walked in, and that's when I grabbed her, and then I threw her on the bed right there.
I know this is painful, but I wanted you to demonstrate for Brian what happened.
I push her, and then grab her, and then fall down on the floor.
I know you're not going to do it because I got my brother Phil here to help me out. All right.
And then I sit there.
And then what did she do?
Well, when she fell down, I heard that, and then her tongue stuck out, and I just was.
Police obtained surveillance footage from outside the apartment complex. He was seen on the footage in the early hours of Monday morning, the 24th of September. At 3:21 a.m., Mark dragged a large container to Michelle's car. He made several trips back and forth to the car at 5:41 a.m. and then left at 6 a.m. Police searched the area around Mark's parents' home and found a number of items in a dumpster. They found a Pampers box, Mark's business cards, sunglasses, Michelle's credit card which had been cut up, and clothing, as well as a wad of black tape. During Mark's sentencing phase, his lawyer argued that his case was one of sudden passion. Sudden passion can be raised as a mitigating factor during the punishment phase of the trial in Texas. It cannot be used as a defense to murder. Jurors had to decide whether Mark was provoked to such a level of fear, rage, or resentment that any reasonable person in a similar situation with an ordinary temper simply would not be able to keep their cool. If Mark was successful in this argument, it would mean that the maximum punishment for murder is reduced from life in prison to 20 years, and he could be sentenced to as little as 2 years. The jury did not find Mark's case was a case of sudden passion. He was sentenced to 27 years. He will be eligible for parole in 2026.